I am Brian McFadden, and welcome to the Sarah O'Connell Show.
Welcome to the Sarah O'Connell Show.
It's a very Irish name. Are you Irish?
Half Irish.
Which half?
The middle.
Oh, that's a good part. That's the liver. Yeah, once the liver's Irish, you're grand.
Yeah, I think so. It makes me almost immortal, I think.
It does. It makes you live forever.
That's it. Because you're pickled. So you don't age.
Do you know how old I am? 62, which you'd never tell.
I'm 187.
That's good going, that is. That's very good going. Good innings.
Yeah, that's pretty good. It might be stone, though, it's the only problem. So, Brian McFadden, welcome to the Sarah O'Connell Show. How are you today?
I'm good. I'm very excited. This is the first day of promoting my new album, so it's been a long time since I've been out promoting an album. You know, I've obviously done a lot of other things like touring and a lot of TV work, but to be back out talking about music is exciting for me.
It's been about 5 years, hasn't it, I think?
It has. Well, since I've had it, that was a single. I haven't had a proper album out in a long time.
Me, even longer. I haven't had one out at all. I don't know. I've been working on it for quite a while.
You are being slack. You need to get the finger out and get going. Come on.
We do it all freestyle. It's going to be really good. So you are from Dublin in Ireland.
I am indeed, yep.
And you went to stage school and you studied acting, singing, drama, all that good stuff?
Well, I didn't really study acting. I studied more just kind of dancing and singing, really. Well, I wasn't very good at dancing, but the singing part I took away all right.
First of all, you formed an R&B group called Cartel, is that correct?
I think R&B is probably not the right word. We did covers of Backstreet Boys songs and stuff like that, so it wasn't really R&B.
So full on rap music then?
Yeah, hardcore. So it was basically we say R&B, it was more like kind of Blackstreet R&B rather than proper R&B. But yeah, it was a kind of a cool little band I did with two of my friends, and you know, that was really exciting times. That's when you didn't have managers and record companies, and you know, we were going into the back of an old church to rehearse after school every day, and that is really exciting. And you know, we did maybe 4 or 5 gigs in front of a couple of hundred people, and for us that was like playing Wembley Stadium. You know, it was so exciting. So I have a lot of fond memories from doing that, and to be honest with you, that is part of the reason that I got into Westlife, because I was doing gigs with that band. That's when Louis Walsh actually saw me performing with them and asked me to come and audition for Westlife. So
that's amazing. So
it did lead into it, and in fairness, the guys I was in the band with, one of them was moving to Canada anyway, so they were very supportive of me kind of joining Westlife. So it was great. It was a great kind of a learning curve for me.
I bet. So what was that experience like? You went from performing with a couple of your friends in bars to you joined Westlife. You had, was it 7 number ones in a row?
Yeah, 7. The first 7. Yeah. It should have been 8 because our 8th song was our biggest selling first week song, but we were hammered by Bob the Builder. So only for Bob the Builder we actually would have had, I think, 12 in a row.
Bob the Builder hammers everything though. He's a nutcase.
He's a builder, and he's supposed to hammer things.
Can't help it.
Yeah, well, we were definitely hammered after that.
So what were your highlights of your time in the band? Have you got any sort of favourite memories being on tour, favourite songs?
You know, it's very hard to pinpoint one moment in time from my time in Westlife. It was the most incredible 6 years of my life. Yeah, from the second we started, even just the day it was announced that I was in the band, it just went from there. The next day I was on the front page of the paper with myself and Nicky, you know, with the guys who just got into Louis Walsh's new band, and it just started from there. Within a few weeks we were already out gigging, playing in there's a big road show in Ireland, you know, performing in front of 15,000 people a night. So we went straight to the big stage. Then we started recording an album. That was done very fast. It only took a couple of months. Within 6 months of us forming, we were number 1 in Ireland and England, and about to embark on a trip around the world, which would see the same success, and it never stopped. By the time we'd kind of got to the last country to release our first single, we came straight back to do the second single, and it just kept going like that. We would just do a tour, get back, next single, and that just went like that for 6 years solid. There's so many amazing memories. I don't have one, you know, because the whole thing as a moment of my life is still to this day one of the most special times of my life.
I'm sure it is, and it's something that will always stay with you, right? And because people will keep asking you about it.
Well, I still think about it every day. Every day something happens and I go, oh, I remember doing that with the lads, or I remember doing this, and you know, because there was so many fantastic things, especially now that I'm back doing promo. You know, I arrive at BBC today and I'm looking up kind of going, oh, I remember being here doing Top of the Pops every other week, you know, or so all those kind of things. So there are lots of lovely memories, and because it was so quick, so fast and so compact for me, there's a lot of things I forget. So it is nice as I'm back in London and places now where I go to different countries, that memories that I've forgotten kind of go, oh, remember that time I did that. Like I'm going to Singapore tomorrow for the Formula 1, and the last time I think I was in Singapore was with Westlife. So, you know, when I get there again, it'll be like, oh, I remember being here with the lads. So it always happens, you know, these little memories pop up and down.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, is it true that you at one point changed the spelling of Brian from an I to a Y to make it easier to sign autographs?
Yeah, I did. When I joined Westlife, I changed it from I to Y because the little swoop in the Y made it easier to do an autograph. Also, I was 18 and I probably thought it looked cooler. It's how, you know, Brian Adams spelled his name and other people like that. And all the cool Brians spelled it with a Y. And all the nerdy Brians spelled it with an I. So I was like, I want to be a cool Brian. Which kind of got annoying then because everywhere we would travel in the world, my ticket for the airline would say Brian with a Y and my passport said Brian with an I, and I got most places would stop and go, the names aren't the same. Yeah. So it caused me a bit of difficulty. So in the end I actually changed it back just because it was the sensible thing to do.
It just takes slightly longer to sign it for people now.
The only regret I have about that is now all my discs that I have at home in the attic from Westlife, they all have Brian with a Y, and it looks really weird when I see it. Yeah. You're kind of going, they misspelled my name. It was my own fault. Idiot.
That's funny. So are you still sort of in touch with any of the boys from the group anymore?
No, not really. No, I haven't really seen any of the guys in a long time. I think the last person I saw was Nicky Byrne. I must have been about 3 years ago. I just passed him in the street. He was walking his little boys and I walked past him. No, we don't keep in touch, but you know, it's some people might find it strange, but to us it's not strange. We've all got our own lives, you know. I don't speak to any guys I went to school with anymore, and to me it's the same thing, you know. We spent 6 years of our life together, but it's not that long if you think about it. I spent longer with some guys in school, so
yeah, that's it. I mean, you spend so much time with each other as well, and I guess it's nice to sort of check in and say how are you, but you don't need to be.
You don't need to, because you got social media now, so I follow them all on Twitter, so I can see they're all still alive, so that's and they're all healthy and their families are healthy, so that's all that matters to me.
And nowadays, you know, they've had for lunch, how long they walked around the park, everything.
Yeah, absolutely, that's the power of social media.
Sure is. So in 2004, of course, you left Westlife and you had your first debut album. What was that like? Were there different pressures being a solo artist?
There was. I didn't feel under pressure. I only made the record because when I left Westlife, I did want to take a little bit of time off and kind of take a break. It had been a crazy roller coaster ride, especially the last year. It had got very stressful and especially having kids and being married at the time, to not be able to be there for the kids growing up was very, very difficult. So I did want to go home and just live a normal life for a little bit. Didn't last very long. I think I must have been 3 or 4 weeks that I'd been home. The boys carried on touring the world, and all of a sudden I was sitting there going, it's not what I thought was going to happen. The kids are in school all day. My ex-wife, she was gone off doing work. All my friends were in work, and I was just sitting on my own going, you know what, it's so weird when you're you know, in the middle of it, you think the grass is greener on the other side, but it's not till you actually do it and you go, actually, it probably wasn't the brightest idea to give up music. So I definitely knew straight away then, okay, I got to get back, I got to get myself busy. So I started to write my solo album. I didn't expect it to happen so fast, to be honest with you. I thought it would take me probably a year or two to write it, but I guess because I had so many ideas, because I had been writing a lot for Westlife the last few albums, and I had a lot of ideas of what I wanted to write about and talk about. And once you've got, for me, I'm all about the lyrics, so once I had kind of subject matters that I wanted to talk about, it just kind of happened very fast. And then when I met Guy Chambers and we partnered up, we pretty much wrote that whole album in about 3 weeks. Wow. So all of a sudden, you know, we'd had the first single, Real To Me was ready. Yeah. I'm sitting there with my manager and we were like, do we need to write more songs? He's like, I don't think you do. I don't know how you're going to better this. It all sounds like it's a record. I don't see why you should kind of keep in the studio trying to make it any different. It works as a piece like this. So we went straight out with it, and obviously Real To Me was fantastic for me. It was #1 everywhere.
And you were, you know, #1 in Australia and all over Europe.
For me, my biggest achievement was there was one song killed me, but it was the #2 played song on radio in Europe, in the whole of Europe, for 2004, and I missed out by one. Maroon 5 beat me, Which She Will Be Loved. I was devastated. I could have been #1 all across Europe for a year.
Although to be fair, it's better to be Maroon 5 than like Mr. Bobby or
Bob the Builder. That would have been a real kick in the balls. That, can you imagine if Bob the Builder had killed me on that as well?
Like, you know what, I think I'm going to release another song. So please don't.
No, I've spent the rest of my career avoiding Bob the Builder. Even if he's doing a live show, I'm not in that town. I'm going to the other side of the country.
So always building walls between people. He needs to stop it.
He is. He's not a nice guy. Don't be fooled by the whole I love kids thing. He's not. He's just doing it for the money. He's not even a real builder. No, you heard it here first.
You'll tell me next that Super Mario isn't a real plumber.
He is a real plumber.
Of course.
Jeez, don't be spreading rumours. Slanders.
I wouldn't let him near my pet turtle, but...
Luigi's not worth the fuck, but Mario is a real plumber.
So, in 2010, I went on a press trip to Australia, Sydney, and I turned on the telly one day, and I was very pleasantly surprised to see you hosting America's Got... No, not America's
Australia's Got Talent.
Stop that. Australia's Got Talent. Wasn't listening to my own sentence.
No,
Australia's Got Talent.
Yeah, that was a strange kind of turn in my life, really. I'd gone to Australia and I'd released... I didn't actually release a second solo album in Europe. I went straight to Australia and released it in Australia. And I was doing that, and then I got approached to do a TV show. Now, I'd never done TV before. I'd never hosted anything. It was not something I'd ever done. But I got asked to host a show called Football Superstar, which is basically, it's the equivalent in football of X Factor, where it's basically we scout the country and we find kids that are good at football, and then they get whittled down to one player, and that winner gets a professional contract for a big football team. So I hosted that, which was a lot of fun. Yeah. And then off the back of that, I was asked to do a fill-in guest spot. Somebody got sick on Australian Idol, which was the show that was on at the time, and I was asked to fill in for a judge because he was sick. So I did it, and then a couple of weeks after that, after the people seeing me on that on the other network, I got the phone call then to be a judge on the new season of Australia's Got Talent, where they revamped it with myself, a guy called Kyle Sandilands, and Danny Minogue.
Yeah, that's right, yeah.
And we had 3 great years doing that. It was a lot of fun. A shame it had to end. Unfortunately, I think the network's contract ran out and it ended up moving stations, a bit like The Voice did over here. Yeah. It moved from Channel 7, I think, to Channel 9. And unfortunately, we were all signed to Channel 7, so we couldn't go with the show.
Oh, nice.
So we were devastated. We were loving doing the show. Yeah. But unfortunately, it came to an end. But what a fantastic 3 years we had. Absolutely. It was so much fun. I didn't think I would like doing something like that. I always watching them shows, I never really liked the idea of people being judged for what they do. But when we did this show, a lot of it was fun, and we were never really that harsh on anybody. We were more just saying whether we were entertained or not. We weren't really telling anyone if they were good or not. Yeah. But there's some seriously weird and funny people in Australia too.
That's what makes the show so great to watch, right?
Like, we had one guy he was a geography teacher, by the way, so he was teaching the youth of Australia, and his trick was smashing watermelons over his head. Wow. Which was interesting. The guy got to the semi-final.
Did you know that he got to the semi-final?
I don't know. I think he had a concussion by the time he didn't make the final because he was in hospital, but it was a strange one. That was a weird talent to see someone smashing watermelons over their head.
And how do you know that you can do that?
That's the real question.
Yeah. How did that come up?
I was less impressed that he could do it. I was more impressed at the fact that he'd figured out that he could do it. Mm-hmm. And I was weirded out by it. Who knows? He was a geography teacher there. Kind of strange anyway.
That explains it. Yeah. Explains everything. It does. I chose to do history instead.
Yeah.
So would you, with the success of shows like X Factor and Britain's Got Talent, what advice would you, having been a judge for 3 years, what advice would you give to anyone going on those shows? How can they impress the judges? What are they looking for? Well,
I wouldn't know what to say to someone going on The Voice or the X Factor. It's a different show. The thing about the Got Talent shows like Britain's Got Talent, Australia's Got Talent, it's more about entertainment. You're trying to entertain people, and impress people. Whereas I think they're looking for different things in X Factor. They're looking to hear if you have an original sound or an original voice. So I don't really know what to say to those people. You just kind of got to go out there and hope that, I guess, Simon or someone sees something in you that they can imagine making a record with you. Whereas with Got Talent, it's as simple as this. If you've got something that you think you're good at and could entertain people at home, just give it a go.
It's very good advice. Now, you've released music with Kevin Rudolph and Leanne Rimes and Ronan Keating, many more amazing artists. Is there anyone else you'd like to collaborate with?
Well, I've just done 2 collaborations on my new record. One with Misha Paris, which is amazing. Now, I've worked with some amazing female singers. I've done a duet with Sinead O'Connor, as you said, Leanne Rimes, Mariah Carey. But wow, Misha is just phenomenal. She's got to be Britain's greatest ever female soul singer. She's just unbelievable to work with and to listen to. And then also one of my idols growing up, Andrew Strong, who of course was the lead singer from the movie The Commitments, which got me into soul. That movie and that album made me basically fall in love with soul music. So I was really delighted to be able to get Andrew on the album as well. So we did a duet together.
Oh, fantastic.
He was the voice I always wanted to be. And we got to do a song together, which was just fantastic.
That's superb. Now, you've also written for many artists as well, including bands such as Girls Aloud. Are there any songs that you've written that have been released that you've ever thought, I wish I'd kept that one?
No. Well, I did a lot of songs with Delta Goodrum on her albums. There was a couple that we did together, and I kind of think, I would have liked to have kept that for myself. That was a pretty good song. There was a song called "In This Life," which is just a crazy song. Now I wouldn't have done it as good as her, but I always listen to that song. I would have loved to have done that song. It was a cracking tune.
Now, tell us something that people at home may not know about you. A fun fact, maybe a party trick you've got. What might they not know?
What a party trick? What have I done? Oh, do you know what? I'm addicted to pop chips.
Are you?
Salt and vinegar pop chips. And like weirdly addicted. Like I eat 2 packets a day, and they're that size. I even rang one of the supermarkets, and I got them to deliver 40 packets to my house. And the guy just kept coming with all these plastic bags full of pop chips. And Danielle, my partner, was not happy because there was nowhere in the house to put them. They ended up going up on top of fridges and in wardrobes and under the couch. So my house is crawling with salt and vinegar pop chips.
But not for long though, because you eat them.
2 a day, 20 days. The last 3 weeks they're gone.
I've got a similar problem with Pepsi Max.
I'll have 3 bags. So.
Yeah, makes sense. I've got a similar relationship with Pepsi Max. I kind of panic if we. I like it. I don't know why.
I'm a Diet Coke man.
Wakes me up.
No, I'm a Diet Coke man. I've never liked or Coke Zero now. I like Coke Zero more. But no, Pepsi Max always reminds you of 3 o'clock in the morning at KFC for some reason. Don't know why.
I just want it always to be 3 o'clock in the morning in KFC.
Yeah. Greasy mouth with Pepsi Max. Yeah. Love it.
It's a true story. So you hosted a show called Who's Doing the Dishes, a celebrity show where contestants had to guess which celebrity had cooked them a 3-course meal. One thing I wondered was, did you ever consider cooking the meal yourself so they'd never guess it? Like as a surprise plot twist?
Yes, that was talked about for the very last episode that we ever did. We did talk about it being in my house and that I would kind of trick them by keep going in and out and doing it. But it for some reason it never came to fruition. I thought it would have been a brilliant idea. Yeah, but again, I don't know. I don't think I wanted to do it in my own house either.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Got to tidy up.
The hardest part about that show for me is because, as you know, I lived in Australia for a long time. Yeah. A lot of the people who were on the show who were celebrities had become celebrities when I was away, and I didn't know a lot of the people. So it was quite difficult for me to be in a house interviewing someone that I didn't even know who they were. So that's what I found hard. Not that they're not celebrities, they were celebrities, but just I wasn't familiar with them because they'd become famous when I was away.
I've had that before. I'll be at a film premiere, and so you just speak to everyone that comes up to you, and if they're happen to be on a show I haven't watched, sometimes I'll only find out who I'm talking to 3 questions in, and it's kind of a fun game to work out who they are.
Tell me who you've done that to.
I won't, but
what was the show at least?
Strictly Come Dancing.
Oh right, yeah, no, I wouldn't. I've never seen an episode of that. I think I've seen 1 episode before that, so I wouldn't have a clue. I've met some of the dancers and stuff, and I didn't even know they were on the show. No. The only one I know is James Jordan, and I know Anton Dubek because he plays golf and we play golf together. But that's the only reason I know them from playing golf. I didn't know them from dancing.
Now you've recently collaborated with Keith Duffy from Boyzlife and formed your own supergroup. How did that come about?
Well, Keith and I were friends for a long time. We play a lot of golf together. We are very good mates. Yeah. And we talked about Keith had been talking about doing a show on his own, a one-man show, kind of telling his life story. And we went out one night, and I actually was doing my own concert. I was playing Whelan's in Dublin, it's this little rock venue, and Keith came down with his son Jay. And there was, while I was on the stage, he was looking at me kind of going, do you know what? The one thing the show will be missing from me would be obviously the songs and the singing side. He goes, what if I did it with Brian and we sang the Westlife and Boyzlife songs and then told stories together? So originally the whole show wasn't really a music show. We only did about 8 songs in the first tour, and a lot of it was big screens with videos, and we would tell stories and anecdotes about our career and our life. And it's just progressed from that we've just started to tell less stories and sing more songs because we've got so many hits. I think we've got 21 or 22 number 1 singles between us.
Incredible. So
yeah, now we've pretty much ditched the stories and we're just literally going out and singing all the hits every night, and it's great because we do these gigs and you just see. We've 2 kinds of gigs. We do gigs where we sell tickets and our fans come, but then sometimes we turn up random places for corporate gigs, and you might have 1,000 people there not expecting us, and all of a sudden you see all these people standing on the chairs singing all the songs that they've known for 25 years. It's a really good experience, and we have a lot of fun doing it. And it's very easy for us, you know. It's so stress free. We just travel around, do the gigs, and have a lot of fun together.
Sounds like fun. I'm going to have to go see it.
It is. It's a great night. It's good fun.
I've invented a new supergroup for you, by the way. See if we can get this underway. I was thinking, take that Boyzone west in one direction as E17 is McBusted. But I couldn't work out where fitting in Jedward, regrettably.
Blue.
I know.
You forgot Blue. Well. Yeah, I don't know. We have talked about previously, Keith and I, actually speaking to a few, because obviously there's a lot of bands from our era, like, you know, probably not Take That because they're obviously still going, but bands like Blue and Five, and some of the lads from NSYNC and the Backstreet Boys that we kind of know. We did consider possibly getting a couple more members from a couple more bands and kind of building it up, not for the performance wise but for the stories, you know. We thought it would be fun to have maybe 5 lads from 5 bands on a stage telling the stories of, you know, their stories about what the experience was like for them and kind of interacting with each other. But in the end we decided we'd just do it on our own and be a lot more fun. So we just kept it as 2.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Otherwise the name would get too long as well.
Too long. Boyzlife is hard enough. A lot of people already think that it's some kind of a gay strip show, and they're very disappointed when they arrive.
Is it not? Oh.
There's no nakedness. They can't believe that a show called Boyzlife has no nakedness.
Outrageous.
It is terrible.
Now, on the 2nd of November, your brand new solo album Otis is coming out. Now tell me about it. It's all about songs kind of rejigged Otis Redding's classics, is that correct?
Well, they're not necessarily Otis's classics. There's a few of his classics like Love Man and These Arms of Mine, but I haven't done Dock of a Bay. I've tried to steer away from the biggest hits. A lot of them are kind of unknown gems that people wouldn't have heard before. And, you know, when I was researching this album and listening to all his old stuff, some of the songs that Otis had, you know, I can't believe that I'd never heard them before. And when you hear them now, they sound like proper modern pop records. And I was really surprised that a lot of them weren't bigger hits. We do one song it was actually an Aretha Franklin song. That's the one me and Misha do together. Angel, which is originally a Aretha Franklin song, but Otis and Aretha actually did it together. Aretha, I'm mixing them all up. Misha, Aretha and Otis originally did this song together. So me and Misha Paris have now done it, Angel. And again, it was another song I was like, how come I've never heard this song before? It's an instant classic when you hear it, and I'm just really shocked that I've never heard it. So for me it was lovely to kind of rework these songs, and you know, I haven't messed with them too much. I've reworked them, but I've tried to keep them as true to the original Otis sound, and the players that are playing it are just, they're the best in the country. They're the best soul players in this country by a long way. And it's magic to work with them, you know. To go into a studio and to have the whole band recording the song in one take. But there's two tracks on the album that we did one take.
Really?
And that's it.
Wow.
Pressed record, recorded the song, bang, that's it. Okay, next.
I love that.
Which, so did I. We did the whole album in 2 days. And we didn't even need 2 days. We were finished halfway during the second day.
That's
and
incredible.
the only reason that we did a second day is because the band went to the pub at 6 o'clock the first day. So we could have done the whole thing in one day.
That's good to know. I mean, you could, you know, do 100 albums in 100 days at that pace.
I don't tell my manager that. You'd have to pay for it.
I know. So you are going to be performing here at the Boyzlife Club in November 6th to the 9th, I believe, and then going on tour next spring, 2019, April.
For my birthday. Going to be doing I think, I'm not sure how many, 5 or 6 gigs, just small clubs around England, just to kind of get it kick-started, and then we'll see where we go from there. Obviously I'm releasing the album other places as well, so we're off to South Africa and Dubai and places like that, and hopefully Australia in the new year, so we'll see. But I'm going to be doing a lot of gigs with this band, which I'm excited about.
Well, it's very exciting, and wish you the very best of luck with the album and the tour.
Thank you very much.
Very welcome. Now, finally, have you got any messages for people watching the Sarah O'Connell show at home and your fans around the world?
I'm just hoping you pressed record.
Oh no, this is just for me. This is
Okay.
Dress rehearsal. We're going to do the whole thing several times.
Warm up. I like that. I'd like to say thank you to everybody. I've enjoyed it. It's been a lot of fun. And listen out for Otis. It'll be available soon.
Brian McFadden, thank you for coming on the Sarah O'Connell show today. To everybody,
and Keith will kill me if I don't say this as well. Keith and I are actually touring the UK in October, so go on to boyzlifetour.com if you want to get tickets for that. So you can see me next year or Keith and I this October. Loads of options.
Fantastic, and I hope to come along to that too.
Both of them.
Fantastic. So thank you to everybody watching at home. Be sure to share, subscribe, give the video a big thumbs up. And I'll see you all again soon for another episode of the Sarah O'Connell Show. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you. That's amazing. Did you enjoy that?
Yeah, it is.